The fact that Fathom Deeps is actually a jumping game. And back then, you weren't really able to, I mean, you could summon people, I guess, but unless you had a Warlock, you couldn't really do that. So you had to advance through those trials. And there were a lot of people, my mom, she could have been in that video. She was very bad at jumping, okay? And like, you know, getting around. Like, it was... She was, all right? There were a number of times I had to go and, like, you know, do something for her because she couldn't get to it on her own, right? And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's, you know, she's not very spatially aware, okay? So we're gonna give Fathom Deeps a B. I don't think the dungeon was anything special. I don't think the dungeon was an account sharing. No, it wasn't account sharing because she was an adult and I was a minor, so I was helping her. And that's allowed in the TOS. Get out of here. I've read every word in the TOS. I know all of the rules on Twitch, on like YouTube, on WoW. I know all of the fucking rules. And that way, the reason I know all the rules is if somebody pisses me off, I know what I can fuck them for. Okay? Fathom Deeps, or sorry, Blackrock Depths. Just get that out of the way. It's obviously one of the best dungeons that they've ever made. Blackrock Depths, I really liked it a lot, and I would say it's obviously an S tier dungeon. Many years ago, I could do the run back from Blackrock Depths from Thorium Point all the way to the entrance. I could do it without even looking at the screen. That's how many times I died. I would walk home from school fast so I could get a group because I knew if I had to start after 5 p.m., I wouldn't be able to finish the dungeon before I had to go to bed. Okay? It was a beautiful time. Blackrock Depths is one of the greatest dungeons they've ever made. Dire Maul. I think Dire Maul is also an S tier dungeon. I think that it's also an S tier dungeon because there's so much in-game depth that comes out of Dire Maul that I really think that it deserves, it's at least an A, okay? It's at least an A, but I feel like with all the different ways that you're able to do Dire Maul and the different like types of, because it's a dynamic dungeon, right? Especially for like the tribute runs and all of that. It's something that's unique that you didn't really see a lot of times before then. So I would actually give Dire Maul, yeah, the Dire Maul buff was very flexible. You're able to go in there from different directions. And I just think in general it was a very, very good dungeon. Farming the books with the jump runs, yeah, exactly. So because there were so many rewards that came out of Dire Maul, I think that made the dungeon itself much better than it would have been naturally. So I'm going to give Dire Maul Tally Quest, you're right, and also the tier 0.5 quest as well. We did that on stream. We're gonna give Dire Maul an S. That's an easy S. Gnomeregan. My opinion on Gnomeregan, I don't like it. I don't like Gnomeregan. I'm gonna give it like a C. Gnomeregan had a lot of depth to it, but the depth was pointless. There's no reason to figure any of the shit out. It's like imagine playing a game but you don't give a fuck about anything in the game, and so you just run through it randomly, and it doesn't fucking matter. I do that all the time. It has like all these like punch codes and key codes. It's like, what is this? Am I trying to unlock a safe or just play a fucking game? It's too much, man. So I would say Gnomeregan is a C-level raid, or a dungeon, okay? I'll probably just call them raid interchangeably. Lower Blackrock Spire. I think you guys are way too generous. Let's be a little bit more realistic, okay? Blackrock Spire, it was all right. Blackrock Spire was a nice raid. It was a nice raid full of nice orcs, and there were a couple of good things about it. The best thing about Lower Blackrock Spire was the fact that it was the dungeon layout was really good. I think the dungeon layout for Lower Blackrock Spire was the best part of the entire dungeon. I'm going to give Lower Blackrock Spire, I'm going to give it a B. It was okay, but it wasn't amazing. Maraudon. Like, Maraudon. Like, what do you guys think? What should I rate Easy D? I think a lot of these decisions are actually influenced purely by our personal experiences in these dungeons back in the day. Because I see people saying, oh, this is an S tier dungeon, and other people saying, oh, this is a fucking D tier dungeon. This dungeon sucks. Yeah, of course this is true, right? Of course. So let's go ahead. We're going to try to be a little bit more objective. And by objective, I mean everybody is agreeing with my own personal experience. So I'm going to say Maraudon. I'm going to say it's a good raid. Or a good dungeon. Now, why is it a good dungeon? I feel like the very end of Maraudon, like the last like 5 bosses where you jump off the waterfall, and then there's like the Hydras like in front of you. That part of the dungeon is thematically one of the best parts of the game in Classic WoW. Because after you've fought through the slimes, you've dicked down the satyrs, you've freed Keeper whatever the fuck his name is, and you descend out of the mountaintop, or into the mountain, and off of the waterfall, and into the very core of Maraudon itself. You go up to the highest peak, and you defeat the golem, and you get the helmet, because you need rolled on it, even though you already had another one, because just in case the one that you had broke, now you'll have a second one. The paladin in the group is fucking pissed. Hey. Hey. So, then you finally kill him, you go all the way down, and you look at this this pathway. It's a long, curvy pathway with very difficult bosses to trash, and you see the last boss. You look up, and you're inside of a giant gaping chasm. And you look down, and there's a crocodile boss below you. That was fucking awesome. I'm gonna give Maraudon an A. People don't like that rating? That's fine. Everybody except me is wrong. What else is new? Ragefire Chasm. Now, let's be honest about Ragefire Chasm, okay? Can we be honest, please? Okay. Like, really, I mean, it was dog shit. I mean, like, it was a dog shit dungeon. Like, it was so... Like, the bosses had no mechanics. It was effectively just a bunch of... It was instanced trash. And I mean that in every single different way that you can use the word trash. It was a shitty dungeon, and the mobs did nothing. I'm sorry, it wasn't that good. Razorfen Downs. Now, this is a personal favorite of mine. I used to farm Razorfen Downs at level 60 to farm small radiant shards. And this is all I would do to make money back in Classic WoW. So I actually have a lot of experience with Razorfen Downs. I would say, I'm going to think it's a B. I'm going to say Razorfen Downs is a B. You can take the high road or you can take the low road. If you take the low road, you fight the fucking guy that drops the chest piece. That's the only way that I know about him. His name's like Tukash or whatever the fuck. Then you go down and you fight Mordreth Fire Eye. I think that's his name. And he's jumping up and down, he's dancing. And people are like, wow, that's so cool. And you beat his fucking dick in. And then you go you go down and there's a giant abomination. You beat his dick in. And then you descend up the spiraling fucking mountain. And then you're fighting other bosses that are rare spawns that can drop that sword, Excalibur. And then you get up to the top and you fight whatever the fuck the Lich's name is. And you beat his dick in too. It is so good, man. Descend up. Yeah, because you'd be backpedaling back then. Because everybody was. Yeah, that's why. It was an amazing dungeon. I liked it a lot. I would definitely give it a B. Now, Razorfen Kraul, however, I don't like it. I never liked it. I wasn't a fan. Sorry. I didn't like it at all. I'm going to give Razorfen Kraul, I'm going to give it a C. It's a solid C. It was confusing. It was hard to navigate. The rewards were mediocre. The bosses were dog shit. It was just a shitty dungeon. It was a shitty fucking dungeon. I'm sorry to say, but that's it. Hard to navigate? Yeah, it was hard to navigate, okay? It was. Like, oh yeah, you're so smart. You're able to navigate the dungeon. Well, listen, okay? I did it like twice. Here's how hard it was to navigate. Whenever they introduced the cross realm group finder, if people died and RFK, they'd leave the run. Because they wouldn't know how to get back. They couldn't get back to the dungeon. Whenever they got back to the dungeon, they couldn't get back to their party. They couldn't do anything. I'm absolutely going to say that yes, Razorfen Kraul was dog shit and it was hard to navigate. That's every dungeon. Razorfen Kraul was special, and so was Maraudon, actually. I remember nobody knew how to get back to Maraudon as well, because there were the 3 different entrances, and that really always made things very fun. Alright, Scholomance. It is at least an A-tier dungeon. Does anybody disagree? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I think it might actually be an S-tier dungeon. But why is it an S-tier dungeon? One thing that made Scholomance special is that it had an alchemy lab inside of it, which made it relevant for the entire expansion for engineers, or not engineers, for alchemists. I feel like Scholomance was genuinely, in a way, scary. Do you guys remember, like, in Scholomance, whenever you drop down, where all the zombies were at the bottom, and, like, that female boss was? And, like, you'd be like, oh, fuck? That was badass. I'm gonna say Scholomance, personally, was an S-tier dungeon. The ambience and everything about the dungeon was flawless. I'm gonna give it an S. Shadowfang Keep. Pretty easy dungeon. The layout was really well put together. The rewards were above average. Robes of Argyle, I had them, you had them, we all had them. If you were a caster, you better fucking have it. I would say overall, Shadowfang Keep was a good dungeon. Does it deserve an S tier, though? I don't think so. Shadowfang Keep, the reason that I have these dungeons as S tier dungeons is because they were either just so... They were just so involved and complex that it just made them timeless. Or they were just absolutely amazing at what they were. I don't think Shadowfang Keep innovated at all in dungeons. And I also don't think that it gave any sort of unique reward, and it wasn't perfect at what it did in a way that other dungeons weren't. So I'm gonna have to say, Shadowfang Keep, I'm gonna give it an A. It was a really good dungeon, but I don't think I could in good faith, give the dungeon anything more than an A. Scarlet Monastery. Now this is actually 4 dungeons, right? Because you had Scarlet Armory, Scarlet Graveyard, Scarlet Monastery, Armory, Graveyard, Cathedral, and Scarlet Graveyard, Cathedral, Halls. Was it Scarlet Library? Library, yeah. I think Scarlet Monastery was good. But is it really an S? Most of the dungeons were just... There was nothing to them. There's nothing to the dungeons. Like, you literally, like, in the Scarlet Graveyard, you went down, you went over, you went down, you killed the interrogator, you went up, and you killed the skeleton guy, right? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? Scarlet Library. You went in there, you killed the 2 guys, you got the dog thing, I forgot even what the fuck that was. You killed Arcanus Doan, and you killed Herod, and then that was it. Like, it was boring. I mean, guys, it was fucking boring. Like, Herod, come on, like, you got the loot. Oh, wow. Yeah, Scarlet Monastery was good in one way, that it was the first time that players actually got badass-looking loot. Okay? That's a good point. That is a very good point. Get mad all you want, but this isn't a personal opinion. This is a fact. I'm looking at this objectively. Scarlet Monastery was not S tier. Like, it wasn't. The only thing that would maybe make it S tier is the Ashbringer event later on, and maybe some of the lore that surrounds it. It is an A. And I think even that might be too much. It was okay. It was okay, guys. Listen. 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 Just Whitemane, bro? Oh, come on, man. Like, there was nothing original or dynamic about those dungeons. They were boring. They dropped pretty good loot, which is the main reason why people wanted to do them. And there weren't really a lot of other things to do in that little level period, okay? Unless you wanted to get killed over and over in Stranglethorn Vale. So everybody was trying to do Scarlet Monastery for the gear. Now, was it actually a good raid? No, it wasn't. You look at Scarlet Monastery, you look at Scarlet Graveyard. It's 2 bosses, pointless. The gear that drops sucks. There's no real point of wait, my camera died? Shit! Okay, there we go. I gotta fix my hair now. Shit, now I've gotta make it look good from another angle. Okay, that's fine. Wow, so did you have to raid dungeons to play the game? Well, we'll play the game in a bit too, because I was gonna do the dungeons too. But actually, I was so dead that after I'm done raiding dungeons from a previous expansion, I'll actually go and do raids from a previous expansion too. There you go. What would you recommend for a first date? Tiggies, what would I recommend for a first date? So here was my first date. As I said, I met her at BlizzCon. And we were, it was me and Rich and like 2 other dudes and Zach. And I think like maybe, I think like Tips was there or something like that. And Esfond, I think, was also streaming. And we're walking out and my girl, Izzy, and then like 3 of her friends ran into us. And this is the first time I met her. I was like, yo, what up? I give her a hug. And I was like, yo, you want to go to Taco Bell? Me and Rich are going to go to Taco Bell. And she's like, okay. And then so we go to Taco Bell. And you know what? It was great. Honestly, it worked out perfect. And it was not even a big deal. Okay? Yeah. That's not a date? Well, yeah, it is. Wait, what do you mean? How's that not a date? But yeah, it is. Of course it is. Come on. All right, you know what, guys? People can talk shit all they want. Taco Bell was fucking great, and I don't feel bad. I was laughing. Yeah, it worked. At the end of the day, it worked. This is the thing, is people can make fun of me. They can say that I'm stupid. They can do whatever. But at the end of the day, it fucking worked. All right? And laugh all you want, but it fucking worked. Did you talk about it today? Yeah, of course, right? I mean, like, did you rate Taco Cabana better? Yeah, Taco Cabana was better, okay? All right, let me go ahead and start this. All right, never mind. Clean is that mess behind you. Only worked if you ate. Okay, dude. All right, let's go ahead and let's get back to the dungeons, okay? There's some really, really disgusting stuff going on in chat. I don't know why. I have no idea why, what that is. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at this. Next one. Unfollowing you, don't give SM an S? No, it's probably not even an A. Honestly, if I only gave it an A to make people happy, I would have given it a B naturally. Actually, you know what? Fuck you guys. Alright. Stockades. Stockades. Let's go ahead and be honest about Stockades. Let's be honest, okay, guys? Look. Not only is it in a very, very convenient location. Okay, alright, I can't do it. I can't do it. Alright. It's a D. It's a D. The dungeon sucked. Everybody knows the dungeon sucked. It was a dog shit dungeon. Everybody hated it. It fucking is trash. There was nothing redeeming about Stockades. I would say that it's probably one of the worst dungeons that Blizzard has ever made, and I don't like it at all. So we're going to go ahead and give Stockades a D. Now, Stratholme. Okay, Stratholme, this is where things get to be a little bit more exciting, because we're going to look at both Stratholme live side and Stratholme dead side. Now, the live side of Stratholme, I think, was absolutely amazing. The way that you descended into the Scarlet Halls, you fought through the undead, you found the barricade between the undead and the living, you broke through that, you killed all of the living people, and then you found out that the commander, the main man in charge of the Scarlet Crusade, was none other than Balnazar. And Balnazar was right there, and there was no way, like, you had no idea that was what was going to happen. So Balnazar finally fucking shows up. You see this giant dreadlord, you're like, wait, I thought this guy was in charge of the Scarlet Crusade. And then you kill Balnazar, and then the Scourge overwhelm you, and then they start fighting the people, and you have to fight your way out of the dungeon. That was fucking badass. We're going to give Stratholme, alright, you know what, let's talk about the dead side. You go into the dead side. The canon event in Strat Live, exactly. There's a speed run for Stratholme. I like that a lot. You have to beat down the ziggurats. And there was also a mount. It was the only dungeon mount inside Classic WoW dungeons. For those reasons, I'm going to give Stratholme either an A or an S. A. I think that it deserves an A. Everybody's saying S? Here's what I mean to say, okay? Whoa, wait. Is it better than any of these 3 dungeons? Is it better than Scholomance? Is it better than Dire Maul? Is it better than BRD? Absolutely not. You guys think so? Alright. We'll give it an S. I'll be reasonable with you guys, okay? I'll give it to you this time. It's an S? Atiesh? Oh, yeah, the Atiesh event! So, we're gonna... Yeah, Stratholme, we're gonna give it an S. Okay, Sunken Temple. Get mad, nerds. Get mad. Get mad. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, boys. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, just 1 minute. Why are there tryhards in chat? You guys mad? You guys mad about Sunken Temple? I'll tell you why you're mad. Because you don't know how to fucking navigate. You don't know how to count to 8. You don't know how to jump down. You don't know how to get up. Why you mad about Sunken Temple? Is because you can't navigate. Anybody that understands Sunken Temple is a god among men in Classic WoW. Out of breath? Why? I ran up the fucking stairs like 2 seconds, dude. Like, that's hard to do. Deadmines. Nostalgia is a very strong factor in this decision. I understand a lot of people want me to rate it very, very highly because it was a great dungeon. And you remember and you have great memories of doing it. And let me tell you something, I do too. It was incredible. It had a 3-phase fight, Mr. Smite, at level 15. Multi-phases. My opinion, Deadmines is not an S. It's just not. But it is an A. Deadmines is absolutely an A. One of the best dungeons they've made. VC? No, it's not VC, it's DM. It's not VC. It's an A. It's a high A. It's a very, very high A. It is the closest A here to an S. Alright? The closest A. All right, you know what? Let's actually do that. I'm curious about this. Don't I have a straw poll from a previous day? Which one is it? DM, VC. That's right. That's right. That's right. You see, here's why I'm right. Okay, so here's, all right. Yeah, this is, no, you guys are right, because it is DM. It's absolutely DM. And anybody that calls it VC is a fucking idiot. Here's why. Because every single time you see somebody post, you're gonna shift click their name. Let me tell you a little secret. If they're level 50, they're not talking about Deadmines. And if they're level 18, they're not talking about Dire Maul. You have to use a little bit of context clues here, okay? Uldaman. I'm gonna do something that I am a little bit biased here. At about level 38 or 35 or so, a young Asmongold was invited to his first real guild. This guild had aspirations of raiding. And to me, I was still level 35. I couldn't even get to level fucking 60. So I was like, damn, these guys are ready to go. I join a raid for Uldaman, a 10-man raid. And after 3 hours, we find ourselves at the last boss. The sword drops. And they guilt trip me into greed rolling on the sword. Is boring. Like, the dungeon was boring. It was a C. It was a boring, boring, boring dungeon. So many of the bosses had relatively no mechanics whatsoever. Remember whenever you'd go and you'd fight the maiden or whatever, and you'd walk to try to use the little item in the middle to summon her, and it would zoom your fucking camera in right on top of you because the weird fucking clipping issues with the little town that was there inside that room? Remember that fucking bullshit? That was so annoying, alright? This is not bias, okay? This is a fucking fact. And it still does that, does it? I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Listen, I am 100% certain that Uldaman is not an A or an S tier dungeon. The only good part about Uldaman was the very end, because that's the only part that has any sort of variety. Every other part of the dungeon is you're in a fucking cave, you're in a mine, and you have to deal with these random fucking mobs. Like, Uldaman was dog shit. It was a dog shit ass raid. And I don't even say that. A dog shit ass raid. Get mad all you want, but that's the facts. Now, Wailing Caverns. I think Wailing Caverns sucked. I just think it sucked. I don't think it was that good. I mean, the only things that were good about Wailing Caverns, okay, there's a few things that are good about it. Number one is it had very, very interesting boss variety, okay? It actually had like a giant Stegosaurus as a boss. I thought that was really cool. I thought the way that you had to deal with the different like leaders was cool, and I think summoning the last boss at the end was really cool. That's definitely true, very, very true. Also, there was a set that was associated with Wailing Caverns, which made it more interesting, and also you were able to get deviate hides from. Well, actually, I mean, now that I think about it, Wailing Caverns did really have a lot of utility. I don't think I can even say that it's that bad, even though I want to. The jump, yeah, the jump. The jump was pretty hard. It was the best for twinks, yeah. Jump was hard. Look, dude, you can say that it was easy. You can say that it was easy. And yeah, I think that it's easy now. But back then, whenever you were playing on some potato that had a USB cord fucking stabbed into it, and you're too worried about going to Stormwind because you think it's gonna crash your computer, and you don't want to zoom in too close to a fire because it's gonna lag out and burn up your, Radeon 15 or something like that. Yeah, no, I think that, yeah, the jump was hard. And your mother's keyboard that she bought for you whenever you were 5 years old, and so you can play fucking kid picks, like a Windows 95. No, it was hard. I'm gonna give Wailing Caverns an A, because at a certain point, there are dungeons where you just can't get past them if you're not good enough. You either make that jump or you don't. And if you don't, well, then you have to run all the way back over there and do it again. And then let's say you don't a second time. Everyone's laughing at you. They think you're a fucking idiot because you are. That was nostalgia ranking? It's not a nostalgia ranking at all. I'm looking at objectively, these are like objective things, right? Let's say now you're panicking. You're upset because not only have you missed a jump twice, but now your group is making fun of you and calling you stupid. You panic and you miss it a third time. You're now visibly sweating. Your hands are shaking on your keyboard. Your group is making fun of you, telling you if you don't make it this next time, they're going to kick you out of the group. And unfortunately, the tank of the group is your guild master, and you know that you're going to be out of the guild too if you don't make this jump. Your entire life depends on this one moment. You walk up to the ledge, you backpedal slowly away. You get your running start, and you jump, and you fucking make it. Everybody in the group, 3 people say, "Thank God." And the 4th person is AFK because they had to wait so long. They went to go make dinner. That moment, you overcame something. I swear to God. Yeah, he's AFK. Another guy laughs at you. But you keep your spot in the group and you keep your spot in the guild. Because even though everything was going wrong, at the end of the day, you did it right. And that's why it's going to give an A. Better story than GOT? Yeah, exactly. Real story? What's probably the best story that I have in Classic about that? Something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. Let me think. New Bellular video, pretty positive. I might watch the Bellular video after I do this, okay? Scholomance? Esfond? Oh, dude, come on, man. Scholomance was amazing. I think that it was. I thought it was fucking great. Read the video? Yeah, I'll read the video and then I'll watch this tier list. How about that? Okay, let's see. Now, Zul'Farrak. Zul'Farrak. You were able to stay mounted. Yes, a Skolo PTSD. Yo, that was part of it, man. Like, imagine, like, dude, remember whenever you would fall down and like, the constructs would kill you and everybody'd call you stupid? That was special. Zul'Farrak, you got the big dick sword. You're right. Sul'Thraze the Lasher. And you know what you would do with Sul'Thraze the Lasher? You know what you'd do with it? You'd replace it with Ice Barb Spear the next level. As soon as you got 51. You wouldn't want to use Sul'Thraze the Lasher. It wasn't a good item. It's just shitty. But you would have it, and it would be, yo, that's an epic, boys. And in the immortal words of my boy Jeff, I don't replace epics with blues. And Jeff stayed true to his word. And he sat there, using his sword Destiny, until level 60, and he was able to get the Unstoppable Force. He did not replace epics with blues. He did whatever he wanted. Carrot Trinket? That's right. Carrot on a stick. You got Carrot on a stick from Zul'Farrak as well. You're able to summon an extra boss. The gauntlet thing where you're at the top of the fucking the pyramid or whatever the hell it is, and then you have the guys coming up and you're fighting them all at a time, and then finally you get some tank that's super overconfident and he's like, oh yeah dude, I can just fucking take all this, let me go down there. And then he goes down there and they swarm him and he fucking dies, or maybe he doesn't die and he loses aggro and they kill all the healers and then people are mad at him, and then you have to do the whole thing over again, and you ride back over, and then there's one guy that can't afford his mount yet, so you have to walk, and then so he's walking distance, you're like waiting for him, and then finally you get over there and then everybody's just sitting there waiting for the guy that's walking, and then finally by the time he gets over there, somebody on the group that actually had the mount went AFK, and then you start the event, and you're doing it with 4 people, then you wipe again, group falls apart, then you have to do it all over again, okay? That's special, that's what gives it an A. Zul'Farrak's a fucking A. I love it. It's not an S. It's not an S. This is the list. What's your personal favorite? My personal favorite dungeon is Blackrock Depths. This is the Blackrock Depths, in my opinion, is probably the best dungeon they've ever made.